Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Joyride podcast. I'm your host, Rebekah Joy, and I'm so happy that you've joined me for today's episode. Y'all, we really needed to record an episode today, and I just want to say that if you feel this need to express yourself in some way, shape, or form, please do so. Like, I had some shit happen to me tonight that came out of truly left field. Like, was one of those moments where you're like, what? Like, you're shocked. You're like, what's happening right now? Like, am I being punked? It was one of those situations. And I'm like, I just need to get on the mic and talk because I'm so fortunate that I have this space that is my own for me to share and communicate. And I'm such a big communicator, and it's one of the ways that I find that I express myself and I'm able to articulate myself in the best way. It's through speaking. And I'm just so glad that I created something. I created this vessel for me to simply share and express. So before I get into this episode, I just want to say that, I think it's so healthy for us all to have some type of outlet. Whether that's social media, whether that's a podcast, like creating art, music, or maybe it's just, I have a therapist or I have a life coach or, I share with my husband. Like, please make sure that you are authentically expressing yourself because a lot of people don't. They just don't. And if I can be the conduit for someone else and just remind you, like, hey, it's really fucking important for you to share what you feel called to share, like, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it often. So that is what I'm here to share with you all today. Okay, let's catch up. So we're in Cancer season. We just had a Cancer new moon. How is everyone feeling? Did we have any, major breakthroughs? I personally was waiting for this one moment for it all to come crashing down on me and to have this really, really big release and really big cry. And it didn't really happen. I got into this one show called Dance Life, which, oh my gosh, if you are a dancer, you need to watch this show. I think it's on Prime Video. But I get really, really emotional when I see creators and artists devote themselves to their passions. Yes, love makes me cry and all these things, but there's something about just watching shows, movies, seeing stuff on social media where you see someone fucking go after their dreams, just dagger to the heart in the best way. But I got really emotional at that show. It more so for me was little things that would pop up, or I felt a lot of nostalgia coming to the surface. And I felt myself getting really, really emotional about that. But I spent the weekend just being by the water, going on a lot of lake walks. I laid out by my pool. I've been really into reading lately. I've gotten back into the ACOTAR series, which if you don't read that series, girlies, you need to start reading this series because it's just really good. It's so different than anything I've ever read before. And whether you're having sex or you're deprived, these sex scenes are truly next level. They're so good. They're so erotic. The writing is so poetic. I just love it. And yeah, I'm back into ACOTAR. I'm getting back on my shit when it comes to waking up early before the sunrise because I personally like to wake up when it's dark. I just feel better. There's something about the morning, having the morning to myself, to meditate, to journal, to do whatever. It's my spiritual time. First thing in the morning, last thing at night. I do a bunch of things during the day. I'll listen to, different types of meditations or affirmations or a lot of you wouldn't see it as spiritual work, but working out for me is totally spiritual. Anyways, but I like to have the morning. So that was my weekend. But I know a lot of us are going through such this is such a pivotal time for a lot of us. We had, the crazy eclipse season and then Mercury in retrograde. And then it was, summer solstice. And it's, I always say oh, there's so much change on the horizon because honestly, it's true. So many things are shifting and changing so often. But I really truly feel like from the people that I've been talking to, having conversations with my clients, a lot of us are facing a lot of uncertainty right now. There's a lot of mystery. There's a lot of unknown for a lot of us right now. And I was having a conversation with a client yesterday, and she was saying how she's made drastic changes in her life very frequently. Or sorry, not very frequently. Like she's been making big changes. Like, why can't I talk? I'm losing my train of thought. She's made a lot of changes, like in this current season of her life. She decided to move, like change jobs. And she was telling me how she's at this point in her life where it's like the ego's totally being dissolved, and she's met with things that her authentic soul has always wanted, the type of place that she wants to live in, the type of car that she wants to drive, the type of job that she has. She's making, the money that she knows that she deserves. And she's like, but on the other side, like, I'm so fucking terrified because there's so much unknown, and there's so much that I just can't control, because for the longest time when she was asleep, she was moving towards things that weren't truly in alignment with her soul. And I'm like, yeah, it's terrifying. It's terrifying to be faced with so much uncertainty and so much unknown, but also at the same time, it's so liberating, and there's so much magic in the mystery. And thank God for human design, because that's what I wanted to name the title of this podcast episode. Thank God for human design, but really, like, thank God for God, and thank God for the wisdom that spirituality gives to us. Truly, thank you, God, because I'm always met with the remembering of spiritual teachings and the whole point of this journey, and to come back to love, and we are enough as we are, and all these things, right? And through human design, I used to be such a future tripper. Truly, you guys. Like, I was the girl that would always think about the future, and like, I, for some reason, just couldn't focus on the present moment. And I've learned through learning about my human design chart, through learning about my unique design and my lens of the world, it's like I, along with pretty much everyone, like, I have very, very strong intuitive psychic gifts. And they really only come online when I'm so rooted in the present moment. And what keeps me from being in the present moment is when anxiety comes up and the fear comes up, and, like, what am I going to do, and how am I going to do this, and blah, blah, blah. But like, once I tap back into the present moment, that all dissipates. Like, it all just dissolves, and it all just disappears. And human design allowed me to truly connect with the essence of, like, actually falling in love with the unknown. Because for the longest time, like, I just never understood, like, why am I trying to grasp on so tightly, and why do I want control? I mean, every single person seeks control. Like, we all want to experience a sense of quality control. We want to control things. That's just, it's innate. It's primal. I don't think it's the way that, like, the creator made us, but I think it's just something that we all have adapted to because of just each other, I guess. And so many of us are so like, I need to know what's next. I need to know what's coming. And listen, to a certain extent, that's okay. Like, I truly believe that there are things that we individually all need to do in order to make ourselves feel safe and feel secure. Because if we look at, like, Maslow's hierarchy of whatever, it's like safety is the foundational essence that we need to feel. It truly is like safety and health and security. So, if you having a certain amount of money in your bank makes you feel safe, if what you're eating makes you feel safe, the environment, like, there are a lot of, like, physical things that I believe, yes, we need to feel safe and secure, but also we're cheating ourselves out of life, out of experiencing truly the majestic beauty and the magic of this life, if we try to stay so controlled and we try to grip so hard onto things. And through many reoccurring patterns and karmic lessons and, whatever's being thrown at me, I'm constantly being reminded of the fact of like how beautiful it is to be uncertain, how beautiful it is to navigate through the mysteries of life and to navigate through the unknown. One of my mentors, actually, Sean, who I've talked about before on this podcast, and we actually recorded a podcast episode together in the beginning when I first launched, but she posted something on her story yesterday, and it was one of those things where it was just like, it's landing in me, it's going to stay here for a while, and the message was, the bravest thing that you can do is, now I'm losing the quote, the bravest thing that you can do is to choose mystery over a defined linear path. I read that and was like, oh my God. Like, it's just one of those things where you're like, fuck, I needed to hear this. Like, fuck, that was so good. And it's so true, because I myself have always chosen the mysterious, unknown, confusing as shit path. Because I knew intuitively, before I knew all this fucking information, before I knew all this divine intelligence of astrology, of human design, of Kabbalah, of gene keys, of all of these things that I love, like before I had the affirmation, I just knew. And I just knew, like, I have to follow this path that I'm going to create as I do it. Like, this path is not, yes, it's predestined for me, but it's not like, you know, here, my parents made this path and now I'm just going to walk it. Like, that's never been the route that I've chosen to take. But at the time, I was so caught up in like, okay, I'm going to take this mysterious path. And like, I know that it feels right. And like, I'm so proud of you for choosing this. But at the same time, like, this is really fucking scary. And like, I just want to know. And like, I still deal a lot of times with these feelings of like, fuck, man, like, I know that I'm on the divine path. Like, I know that, but at the same time, like, give me a little something, God. Like, give me just a hint, you know, give me a little clue, like, you know, give me a little something that I can feed off of. Cause sometimes, man, it just gets hard. You're just like, fuck. It's like, as much as I love this, as much as I love the unconventional path, at the same time, it's fucking hard. But reading that quote, I'm like, thank you for reminding me that like what I'm doing is fucking brave. Like, the life that I'm living is so brave. And yes, I've still got shit to heal and I still have so many things to work on, but like, I follow my instincts. I follow my intuition. I lean into what my body is telling me. I do not do things because someone else told me to do it, or I was conditioned to do so. Like, I don't fucking vibe with that. I don't agree with that. And that's not how I live my life. And it's never how I lived my life. But to constantly, you know, come back to these spiritual teachings of human design, of astrology, of these incredible people who just instill so much wisdom in me, I'm just like, this is such a gift. Like, I could cry. It's such a gift, you guys, to be affirmed on the things that you feel within your body, because like, this is a primal feeling. We all want to be seen. We all want to be heard. We all want to be understood. We all want that validation. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. Like, sometimes spiritual teachers can be a little too like, you don't need any of this. You're just like this soul and this essence. And I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? Yes, you do. Like, what are you talking about? We live on fucking earth. You know, we live in a physical 3D reality. Like, I need someone to tell me I'm doing a good job. I need someone to tell me you're an amazing coach. I need someone to tell me that, you know, I'm pretty. Like, come on, you know, like, that's not a bad thing. Like, we all need the recognition. We all need to be seen. We all need to be heard. We all need to be fucking validated. And that is why I love human design so much. And, you know, I've just gotten so many divine channeled messages come through. And one that's really, really stuck out to me is this idea, and I'm constantly being reminded of it like every few months or so. But it's like, listen, if I never talk to this person again, if I never have this experience again, if I never do this in my life again, if I never exercise this thing again, I'm so glad that it happened. I'm so glad that it happened because it taught me something, truly. And I think when you have that sense of pure presence and awareness for what you're doing, you're okay with it not happening again. Like, would I like certain things to happen again? Fuck yeah, 100%. But it's this idea of, if I never get to experience this again, will I be okay? And a lot of people just cling on to the memories, or they stay in something that's toxic, or they stay in something that they've outgrown, or even that they're comfortable in, but it's not challenging them. It's not allowing them to be their next highest version of themselves. It's not allowing them to fully express who they are in this present moment. And that I'm not okay with. And we can all cling on to certain things. Trust me, like I've clung on, is that a word? I don't know, but it's going to be a word. I have held on super tightly to jobs, to hobbies, to passions, to, to men especially. Like, I see all the potential and I really, really want this to work. And like, God, why is this not working? But I have to constantly come back to this work, you guys. Like, that's the point of not giving yourself up to like the spiritual world, but really allowing spirituality to weave through your life. It just is the most beautiful sense of remembering, because we all forget. We all get distracted. We all lose our focus. Things happen to us in our life, experiences, people come in and out of our life, and we just need to come back to a state of equilibrium within ourselves. And that's what human design does, for me at least. That's what it's done for me. That's what it's done for my clients. To have this reminder of like, this is who you are, and that's okay, and this is what you need, and that's okay. And it just is so affirming, and it's so validating. And you can also get that in people. I mean, we're all mirrors for one another. I saw my coach and friend, Eric, who I've talked about on the podcast before, alignment coach. He's absolutely incredible. And we were talking at the gym this morning, and we were just bringing up some things that we've been experiencing over cancer season. And he brought up something and he was like, do you feel this way? And I'm like, yes. Like, my favorite thing is when I'm experiencing something and I either don't talk about it or I do talk about it, but like just to hear that someone else is experiencing it too, it's just like, it's this sigh of relief. It's this feeling of like, okay, I'm not crazy and I'm not alone. Because guess what? We're all interconnected. We're all one. We're all the same at the end of the day. Part of me is like, no, we're not. But it's like we all come from the same place. We're all children of God, children of the universe, whatever you want to believe in. Like, we really are all connected. And we just forget. We forget our power. We forget our essence. We forget what we're fucking here to do, man. Like, that's the truth. We forget what we're here to do. We're here to spread love. We're here to involve other people in our love. We're here to, honestly just like be a beacon of hope and be a beacon of faith and expansion and expression and abundance. And the way that plays out for everyone is going to look so different. It's going to look different for me, or it's going to look different for me than it is for you. And that's totally okay. But I also want to make sure that I'm doing due diligence for not only myself, but for everyone, and sharing these incredible tools and resources that I have used over the span of, the entirety of my journey of becoming, of unbecoming, of diving deeper into myself, personal development, spirituality, because like I would not be where I am if I hadn't found out about human design. Truly, I'm grateful every single day for this beautiful, expansive system that has completely changed my life. And just because it resonates with me doesn't mean that it's going to resonate with you, but like, I got to share about it and I got to talk about it. And like, that's my life theme. I just have to share and talk about the things that truly make an impact on me, the people, the experiences, the tools, whatever it is. Like, I just have to, because I know at the end of the day, like, if it made a mark on me, it's going to make a mark on someone else. And maybe that's going to take a little while for it to land and reach the right person. Because also, a lot of us just like spew and we project. And what I was reading about today in my quantum human design book at the pool was like, is the audience ready to hear what you have to say? And a lot of times, especially lately, I've been feeling this like feeling of like people are not ready for what I have to give and what I have to say. So what does that mean for me? Do I hold back? Do I not share? Do I have to wait for a certain amount of time? But then I also believe that like in life, when it comes to business, when it comes to your hobbies, passions, whatever, a lot of the things that I do, I'm aiming to make money from because I love them and I've turned them from a hobby to a business in some sort. And like, part of success for me is seeing money come through. Not to say that that's everything. Me doing the thing is success in and itself. Like me pursuing the thing, putting my energy, focus, time, and attention into it, and like bringing it to the world, that's enough of a success. But also like, I want to make money from it, and that's totally okay. But at the same time, like, it really is like a numbers game when I think about dating. Not to say, I mean, maybe it's this way for people, you go on 40 dates and you meet the one. That's not really my speed. That's not really how I want to go about dating. I'm more so like, let's continuously tweak ourselves towards alignment, if that makes sense. Like, to the point where, I just keep on improving myself, and through experiences that I have with people, like my person's going to get one step closer to me because we're going to be like an energetic match. That's more of, the speed that I'm moving towards or whatever. But like a lot of people aren't ready for what you have to share, but that shouldn't stop you from sharing it. And if it's bringing you so much joy and fulfillment and satisfaction, it's like, who's to say that it's not going to work? And I always think back to, people that, some people look at them and they're like, oh, they're an overnight success. And I'm like, fuck no, they're not. They've been doing this for 10 years. But it's like, do you have the grit to keep on going? Even when people don't see the light that you see, It's like, are you truly devoted to what you're doing? And this is not just about career. It's about everything. Like everything that you're focusing on and putting your attention towards. It's like, even if people don't see it, do you see it? And is that enough? Because I think a lot of us, we hold ourselves back because we're like, well, what if people don't resonate with this? Or what if they don't agree with me or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, as long as you're not hurting someone, as long as you're not being a malicious person, if it's bringing you a sense of joy and fulfillment, like, also, if you have that desire, I heard this on a podcast episode that I listened today that was absolutely incredible. I'm going to link it here. It was with David Guillaume, I think that's how you say his name, and Jenna Zoe on the Human Design podcast. It fucking blew my mind in the best way. David teaches Kabbalah. Jenna teaches human design. They're just magic together. But he was saying that, like, if you have a desire, what that means is the fulfillment of that desire will play out at some point in time. But like, we can't hyper focus on like, when is a desire going to be fulfilled? He was like, if you have a desire, like it's going to be fulfilled. Like it's inevitable. But when that desire is fulfilled, like you don't really have a say in it, but when that desire does get fulfilled, it's almost going to feel like time goes by in a flash. These are not his exact words. It's kind of just how I interpreted it. But he made it seem like you're going to think like how, like, what was even life before this desire? Or like, you can't even like imagine life before that, because the desire is going to come and it's just going to feel so real and so authentic and just so seamless in your life. And that just gave me so much peace and gave me such a sense of like calmness, because there are so many things that I want that I know that I'm meant to have, but I haven't experienced them yet. And sometimes it feels like, fuck, man, am I starting over again? Like going through what I'm experiencing right now in my life, there are a lot of doors being closed, like a lot, and every aspect of my life, in career, with friendships, with a lot of doors are being closed and a lot of chapters are closing. And I can sit here and be like, holy shit, like I'm so terrified and I'm so scared of what's going to come next. But I know better. I know better because I've conditioned myself, because of the work that I've done, that I know, okay, when one door closes, another opens. And it took me a really, really long time to get to that point where it does not matter, you guys, what happens to me in my life. If something doesn't work out with a guy, if something doesn't work out with one of my businesses, if something doesn't work out with a friend, it's not that I don't give a fuck. I care, I deeply care, but at the same time, I just know that everything's going to be okay, because it has to be, because I believe in the power of the universe. I believe in the power of God. I believe that like God's looking after me and truly wants the best for me. And even if I'm not experiencing something right now, or something that I thought I really, really wanted is not working out, there's a reason why. And that can sound very like, oh, Rebekah, you're just saying that and it's so hard for me and I can't think like that. Yes, you can. Yes, you fucking can. But guess what? For some of you, it's going to take a little more work than others. And I know you probably don't want to hear that, but it's taken me almost, I'm going to be 29 in September, so almost 29 years to fully resonate with like, I'm detached and like, it's going to be okay. Listen, especially with men, I can get very, very obsessed and very caught up and like, oh my God, I like them so much and I have such strong feelings and blah, blah, blah. But it's not forever. It's never forever. Like I can get very caught up in the season, but then my resting state is like, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it's fine. It's fine because if it doesn't work out, that means that something better is on the way. Or not even something, I almost don't like that saying like, if this doesn't work out, like something better is on the way. Like, yes, I agree with that to an extent, but also like whatever you experienced during that time is what you needed to experience. Like I remember watching Jay Shetty talk live at Soho House back when South by was happening here in March. And someone asked him a question about like, how do you figure out your mission or how do you figure out your purpose? And I never heard this answer before, but he was like, your mission and your purpose in life is just like a culmination of experiences. It's all just experience. And I was like, oh shit, that's really fucking good, because so many of us can harp on like, well, what's my mission statement for life? And what's my mission? What's my purpose? Like, listen, I know that my purpose or my why has always been like, I want to help people fall in love with themselves. That's transpired in many different ways. And it's funny because I'm kind of coming full circle with that and like exercising different talents of mine right now, stepping into, new experiences, opening doors that, were once in my life 5 years ago. They're now coming back around. And like life is just experiences. It's more and more experience. So be present for what experience you're moving through right now and for what you're in, and be grateful that it just happened. Going back to like, I truly am so grateful for every single experience that I have experienced. How many times can I say experience? The good ones, the shitty ones. Oh my God. Some of them are just like, fuck, you feel so down and you feel so alone. And you're just like, oh my God, they can be, I really don't have the thought process anymore of like, why is this happening to me? It's not that, but some of these experiences can be so debilitating and just so fucking hard, so hard emotionally, so hard mentally, physically, spiritually, the whole thing. But it's like truly my resting state with everything that I go through now is just like, I'm just here and I'm going to be so purely present for what I'm going through, because if I can't cultivate that sense now, how can I be present for like when the dreams manifest and when the things that I've always wanted manifest? Like, you have to be present for it all. You have to be present for the mundane, for the simplest of things, because listen, when that goal happens, when that manifestation comes to fruition, for me at least, I've found that like the beauty is truly in the journey. When you get the actual thing, you're just like either, oh yeah, cool, this is great. This is like, I was always supposed to have this, or like, it's not as great as I like imagined, So like, let's focus more so on being so present with what we're moving through right now. And when you're present, that's when you leave like just the door open for that space, for the revelations to come through, for the reflections to come through. I experience, it's like every day a new reflection comes through, a new revelation comes through, a new perspective comes through. And I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, I'm so giddy and I'm so horny for these reflections, where if I don't have like a profound light bulb reflection over the past few days, I'm like, where is it? I'm like fiending for it. But I experience them so often, and I just get to sit in this energy and be like, holy crap, 2 days ago, this thought didn't even like cross my brain. Like, how incredible that God is just, me and God are just, we're one and we're connected and we're channeling, and just like every newfound revelation and reflection that comes through is literally just like God speaking to me. And I'm like, he's given me this really cool job of, he's going to share some wisdom with me, and I either get to keep it for myself or share it with the world. or I get to share it with someone in like a deep convo. How fucking sick is that? It just, to me, is the coolest thing ever. And that's kind of my vice. It's also my strongest gift in human design, the gift of revelation. So I just fucking live for it. I'm just like, this is the best shit ever. But it's like in seasons like this where there's so much change, there are so many chapters ending, there are so many doors being closed, I'm just excited. And I'm like, I don't know what's going to come, but I'm expecting good things. You have to be so certain of the expectation of good things, because the opposite of that is I'm just expecting shit things to happen. And listen, we all have these habitual patterns where like things continuously come to the forefront, things that we've experienced that we don't want to go through again, but it's just all a lesson. It's just, a mirror and God saying, hey, guess what? You haven't healed from this yet, so I'm going to bring it back around. We're going to remix this shit. And I'm going to bring it to you again. I'm going to bring it to your conscious mind again so that we can try this again, give it another go round. So that's kind of just the way that I deal with, things that come to the surface where I'm like, oh, fuck, another dude, this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's all just part of the healing process and it's all part of the journey, Rebekah. And that's A-okay. But I wouldn't be able to think the way that I think without these amazing, enlightening, illuminating systems. Like I'm forever indebted to them for the people that I've met through them, for the wisdom that I've gained literally in just like the silence in the space. But just because I've devoted myself to want to learn more about myself and about how I operate in this world and like what I'm here to do. That's the greatest gift of all, is learning about myself and becoming an even more openly expressive and authentic version of myself. That, like, everyone's like, oh, on your deathbed, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I just want to be the fully expressed, loving version of myself. And however that's going to play out with whoever comes along for my journey, so it is, like that's just my one wish for myself and for really everyone. Like, I just want everyone to live their greatest, most expanded, fullest, richest, authentic life. We all deserve that. Truly, we all deserve that. And utilizing these systems and these tools and these resources will help you actualize that so much quicker. I promise you, because I've done it and I've lived it. And I'm continuously learning and strengthening my relationship with myself, diving deeper, connecting with myself on different levels. And it truly is just like the most beautiful experience of all. So that is it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Joyride podcast. Thank you for listening to this episode. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Bye.